Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Fireside Chat episode. Really missing you guys. I have been quite busy in the last few days, so I've been looking forward to speaking to a very special member of our group, Cecilia. Welcome, Cecilia.
Hello, everyone.
So, as you guys know, for the new members, welcome. We did have a few more new members, so a very warm welcome to you all. And this is Fireside Chat. This is your Fireside Chat, where we come together and we learn from your story, learn from your wisdom, and we practice authenticity, embrace vulnerability, and to be with truth.
Exactly.
This is your sacred space. Yeah, I love calling it. This is your sacred space. So we learn from our members and their story. It's a beautiful conversation. So I'm really looking forward to this, Cecilia. And thank you so much for accepting to be
You
here
are welcome.
So tell us a bit more about you and where you are now. And let's get to know you a little bit more.
Lovely. So, hello, I am Cecilia from Spain. I live in a small village in the north, in Navarra, okay? So, when the pandemic started, I was working and living in England, very close to London anyway. But because of the virus, I say, wow, I cannot stay here longer. So, I came back to Spain. And in that time, I was teaching Spanish to English people face to face in England, driving on the left side. And I decided to keep my lessons by Skype because, fortunately, with the media, we can do everything now. So, thanks God for that. So, I am teaching Spanish by Skype. This is working amazing. And at the same time, as you can see there, I am psychologist, and I am doing my therapy by Skype as well. So I am teaching and giving therapy. And because my time in Spain is getting longer and longer because of the situation, so I got a job teaching English as well to the kids, Spanish kids, and this is working very good as well. So my idea is to move in Canada because I was living in Canada before and I want to move in Vancouver after, but I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do that because of the situation. But this is the idea.
Amazing. So you studied psychology? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, so I have the licenciatura, I think it's a bachelor degree, like 5 years here in Spain in Salamanca University. But I finished like long time ago, like in 2012, I think. But after that, I have been traveling a lot and doing a lot of stuff. I have been living in Mexico twice, in Ireland twice as well, in Canada, in Ireland, in Italy, and in England. So it's like,
So you traveled the world.
yes,
So,
I know, I know.
so
But
yeah, go on.
I'm sorry, yes, but
No,
it's
no,
great
it's
because
fine.
for some people, for example, for my family, they say, wow, you lose your time doing all of these things. But I feel here, like it's my call, as we were talking before. Like even people maybe cannot understand the way I do live. For me, it's like I am proud of myself because I am who I am because all of that adventures and experience. So, and maybe nobody can see that, but I don't mind because it's who I am. It's like, and it feels really good. Like, wow, I have done that. I met this culture, and now even for the programs I want to develop, helping people, I can understand better, because I know more people. I have been living alone, totally alone in a lot of experience, and this made the woman who I am now.
Amazing stuff. So I just want to give a bit of background information on you. So you and I met in Tribe last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, last year. Oh my God, we're in January, right? Oh my
So
God,
it was like
2021.
2 years ago now because I remember I was in Italy. I was working as a volunteer in Sicily, in the
Oh
south
yeah.
of Italy. And I don't know, when you say to me, like, everything is energy and blah, 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 because I love that. And in Italy, I was thinking, wow, maybe I go back. No, sorry, I move in England. I have this vision, like I have to go to England because something good is going to happen. This when I was in Italy. And then London Real came up suddenly. I don't know if in my laptop, YouTube, I don't know, and say, "Wow, I have to join this group." And it was in Sicily. I remember our first call. I was in the port, like walking with an amazing weather in Italy, and with my phone. I remember that. I think
I
it was in 2019.
Yeah. And then, you started coming to the calls, we got to
Yes.
know you. And then,
Yeah.
so from what I know from your journey, what I remember that stayed with me is that you travel a lot, and you
I know.
travel from a very
Yeah.
young age, even before it became famous, like even before it became a trendy thing to do. You were traveling. What age did you start traveling?
I know, it's because so when I was so I left my house, I think, when I was 18, because I went to another city to study my bachelor degree in Salamanca. It's 6 hours from my house here in the north. And when I was studying there, I know I started like to think I need to move, I need to see the world. So I got a scholarship to Mexico, so I could study 1 year in Mexico, like 1 year of my degree, and it was one of the best years of my life. In Mexico, I was like 21 years old. So my parents say, "What? Are you going to where?" I say, "Yes, I'm going to Mexico. Bye bye." So I went 1 year. I know. And when I came back,
You have some good parents. I mean,
yeah, I
some
know,
parents will
I
freak
know.
out. And did you get the support though? Because see, there is a difference between, like, there are some parents who don't understand it, but they kind
Exactly.
of go with the flow and they go with you. And then there are parents where kind of reject your ideas, and then there is this tension, and then you're caught in between. Do I please them? Do I live a conventional life,
Mhm.
what the society is expecting of me, or what do I do here now? And
No,
you
but
took you
I,
took the other, of course, to take it in your own.
I
Yeah.
know, but I have to say that I am so lucky. You know what I mean? Because even my family doesn't understand, like, oh, wow, my daughter is crazy or something. But they always help and support me. Even if they don't understand what I am doing. They are always there for me. So I am really,
sounds
really, really
sounds
lucky.
like a good pair of ideal parents, because this as well, because you're a psychologist. Like, one of my favorite authors is um what was her name? Dalai Lama wrote the foreword for conscious parenting. She does
Okay.
this lady. She's really, really good at talking about how to be a parent to your child.
Mm-hmm.
And she says things like, oh, Dr. Shafali, just remembered. She says, like, when you have a child, we tend to see the child as an extension of ourselves. And then when
Totally.
child grows up, we kind of project all these things that we haven't done and we haven't achieved, and how you know these ideologies and how we want this child to turn out, and we really project everything onto them, put them under such a burden, and then end up not allowing them to live a life of
Total,
truth, or their authentic self, right?
Totally. It's like the parents sometimes think that they own the kid, the child, and it's like, you are mine. So you have to do this, you have to be like me. And I know I am not a mom. So maybe if I am one day, I will say, wow, this is really difficult. For sure it is. But as we say before, when we grow up, it's not just, I mean, I can grow up, but maybe your parents or my parents, they are not growing up. You know what I mean? It's like there are different families, different situations, and sometimes even the child is more mature than the parents. So for some families, the dynamics are really, really, all the families, we have things, we need to repair. But in some points, parents are really, yes, like as you say, you cannot do that, you are mine. But still, for example, my family, because my parents are divorced, we are all women. So it's my mom, my grandma, my sister, my aunt, my other aunt. So imagine all this woman world. It's like sometimes it's crazy because everyone wants to organize the other lives. You know what I mean?
I love
And
that.
then it's me that is like, oh, I am running from here, and they are, no, you have to do this, blah blah blah. But then I do everything I want at the end, so it's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's funny, the dynamics with the women is different. Like, wow, that is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, so I think, would you say that starting to travel, I mean, that must have defined your life, because when you start traveling at such a young age and start
Totally.
seeing these cultures, different language, different life, and you see the world, your perception changes, and then this experience can define
Totally.
your like your how you're going to make decisions in the future. And then, and also, once you do it once, they say, then you're not scared to do it again. So going Mexico, and then after that you can go anywhere in the world, like Italy, no problem, London, no
Exactly.
problem,
It's
right?
really close.
And then of course, this is going to change and shift the way you think. And how do you come back and fit the box that society wants you to fit, right?
Wow, this is something, because when I was in Mexico the first time, really, I was just 21, but I have friends even younger than me with a vision of life that it's in my life. We were talking about the Mexican chamanes before and the energy. I don't know if it was my intuition that or my destiny that I was there, but I am really sensitive as well, and I was saying, well, something is different here. I always said in Mexico, the energy levels are different in some places. And, my friends, like teenagers, they were talking to me about myself, about life in a deep level, and I was saying, what's going on here, because I tried this in Spain or something, and it's not the same. I connected to the earth and to the world in different ways, so when I came back, it's true. It's funny because I give a small speech here talking about my experience in Mexico, because I really wanted to bring this knowledge here. And is that, for example, I cannot do a generalization, okay? But in Mexico, I am laughing all the time, but even them, they laugh more than me, Even they have a problem and they were laughing about the problem. I was doing all the drama and I say, are you laughing at my problem? And they were, ha, 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 but like I say, wow. And then you think, this is the attitude, and even maybe sometimes they have less, they don't have a lot of money. Not everyone, but it's different, It's because I could see both worlds. So on the one hand, I was studying in a really amazing university with my scholarship, It was like, wow. And then I was working in indigenous communities, where people were really, really, really poor. So I could see both sides. And still in both sides, they were laughing, they were with this
The culture.
attitude,
Hmm. So
welcoming
they
all
have
the
a
time.
very light hearted attitude to
Totally,
life and the problems and the things, the drama, because in the West we are so wired to make a big drama of everything, every
totally,
tiny thing, right? And then it goes out of
totally.
hand.
I know.
So have you seen in Mexico that they developed this attitude towards life? Take it light, don't worry about it, keep laughing, right?
Totally, totally. And I think it's because here, as I told you before, we live here all the time. So then it's like when we need to bring the meditation, the Reiki skills, everything to go down and to feel ourselves and our body and to connect and to ground it. But they know that they don't have to do that. They already born with that skills and it's like wow because
Wow.
of the energy and the environment, and as you ask me if I can fit here, and sometimes it's really tough because so I love the place where I am. Is my life, my family, my small village. I am who I am because this small place, I own this place, everything in life. But I really have to balance like, wow, okay, I love them, but I don't know if I can be here longer or for how long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now, because of the virus, is even sometimes more difficult because I have my thinking about the virus, the other have other thinking, and it's like, oh my god, they are gonna like the witch that they die with fire in the
Yeah.
in previous years. I think they are gonna put me on fire in my village, like because of my ideas. Sometimes, it's like, wow, Ceci, don't speak that much. Yeah.
So do you think if you
you know
do you sometimes feel that if you were to live 100 years ago, they would have burned you at stake? Like, oh, she's a witch. This is
Really,
not the normal
I
way to live.
really, I a lot of times I thought that, like, but I like that, because I love the women who are like in advance. I always look for these intelligent, clever women that they think they are in a one step ahead. You know what I mean? So I really love that. But when I feel that here myself is not easy. I don't want to say that I am more intelligent or more clever or whatever. Yes, I think that because I always say these are my angels or my ancestors talking to me. I feel that. So it's not my message. It's the universe message, but some people cannot receive that in this way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's
Yeah.
not easy to talk. So, but I am really grateful for this experience here in Spain now, because I really needed this experience here to grow up. I
Mm-hmm.
am, I am
It's
taking
like
all this.
your base. It's your base. It's your foundation that
It's
you
my
can
fund
keep going back.
totally.
Mm-hmm.
And in some way, I have always been like in a small war with my foundation, like the family staff or the village staff or what the people in the village think about me stuff. And then I am developing amazing skills to don't care about. I still care about things. Okay, I'm a human, but it's like, wow, Cecilia, look where you were before and where you stand now. It's like I am really proud of me. It's not. I am working hard in my evolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you have been doing that. I just want to say
Exactly.
something like, yeah, I want to open a window here because what you're doing, I mean, from my observation, because when we were in London Real Tribe together, I loved you coming to the calls because
Oh, thank you.
you bring a very light-hearted energy to the call. When I look at your face, like when I see your Instagram posts, I laugh. There is this,
I know.
like you are embodiment of a joy, like somehow almost like, have you watched a Disney movie called Inside Out?
No, I have to. I think I didn't.
Yeah, I think you should, because you will love it. As a psychologist, you will love it. It's just basically for children to understand emotions. So it zooms into the mind of a, a a girl called Riley. She's the star of the movie,
Okay.
and what goes on in her mind. And there's anger, there's joy, there's sadness. So
Yeah.
all these emotions are representative of like images, I mean characters.
That's
And
amazing.
you remind me of Joy. That's Joy. Joy
That's
does
beautiful.
all these crazy things, and she's always
Yeah.
like, hey, that's fine. And she's always trying to manage the others and other emotions, and let's create this, let's come together, and we love you. It's all about love and everything.
No,
And
yeah. Sorry. Tell me.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, you always remind me of this, embodied, Cecilia. When you come to the calls, I know there's going to be some laughter, there's going to be some entertainment, there's going to be some, this is a huge gift, because a lot of people are too caught up. Like you said, I say that all the time. We live in the West, neck above. It's very difficult to be lighthearted, or at least embrace what's happening. I think we take life too serious. We take ourselves too serious. So you were like the little sparkle coming to those
Th-
calls.
Thank you. Yes.
I would know that we'll have a little giggle or a laughter, and your accent. And every time you say, I don't know how to speak, and you do speak. So
I don't know how to say that in English.
yeah, but yeah, you always
Yeah.
say, but it's beautiful because it's not about that. It's about having the courage to show up, to just keep going, and also listening to the calling, because we talked about calling earlier before we went live. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what I want to share about the calling. It's a very difficult, sensitive area to talk about calling, because somehow in the West, we're born in places and situations, circumstances, environments, and people, homes that calling is not really something that people understand. It's almost like we're disconnected from that. We moved on so far away about these esoteric way of it. I mean, I say esoteric thinking, but actually it's not. If you think about it, a lot of these ancient cultures, when they, like you said, you experienced Mexico for a year where you had to volunteer in the poor sides, like the indigenous. But the thing is, coming from a Western perception, we call it the poor ends, yeah, but they're not poor, are they? They are so
Exactly.
rich. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
spiritually, like in their being and energetically, they are so rich. And we have this understanding that, so materialized. We think, oh my God, we look and the way we see
Hmm.
a world like this is, very materialistic, basically. And yet it's very hard for us to embrace and understand that this is actually the way forward. Having that spiritual richness, connection, laughter, joy, keeping it light and not taking yourself serious is the way forward. And it looks like a very difficult thing for us in the West, right?
Totally. I am getting emotional. Really, something moved inside like now, like when you were saying that,
Yeah.
because I was thinking, like here, for example, I know people like they have money or even a lot of money, and then I am with them and I speak them. I listen to them talking, and they are like with a lot of fear or even talking really bad about other people in front of me. And when I go back home, because they take your energy like, and it's like, what? I feel really you are rich, this is being rich, it's like, I think I don't say that to them for sure, but I
Yeah.
say, wow, I am really sorry for you. It's like you are poor. You are gonna die poor because when you die, you are not gonna bring with you anything but the joy and the love and the light that you gave to the others. When you are alive. When I was living in Canada, and I don't want to talk about my ex, he was amazing too. Okay, but it's like it's the same. I felt sometimes like I could have there everything, even amazing car, amazing house. Like if you see me on Facebook, then you will say, "Wow, she's living like in a movie." And I was like so unhappy, saying, with people that they look like so happy on Facebook, but then they were talking bad about people for being immigrant or talking bad for being poor or talking bad for being fat. And I was looking at them like this, like, what am I doing here? I work with those people. you know, it's it's my life to help people and to be there for people. And it was like something like wow. So this moved me a lot when to say that because
Yeah.
and with the program I want to develop is I want to do that. It's like I know I cannot teach anything. It's not. I don't want to you to think that, oh wow, Cecilia is coming here to uh, save me. Not at all. The first thing I always say that for my patients, for example, that your life is your responsibility. So you cannot go to the therapist thinking, oh, she's gonna tell me what I have to do and clean. Everything is gonna be amazing after that. No, it's a really difficult and huge work that you have to do every single day and every morning. But in
Mm-hmm.
my program, I want to transmit those things because, as you told me, I am blessed with this energy and crazy stuff and ideas. So if I can uh, bring this and give value, saying that what is just the things I felt and I have seen so far. Like life
Yeah.
is more and we are more, but
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
forget that.
Oh my God. Yeah, we are more, for sure we are. And somehow we ended up putting ourselves in little boxes so that we can be the good person. And I mean, what are we doing with this limited, finite time here in this body as who we are or who we perceive as today? And I mean, what are we doing? We're trying to fulfill expectations, fulfill societal guidelines, and stay in the line, like stay in your own lane. And earlier you said to me before live, you said, you know while your friends or people your age are seeking to marry, have the children and have a home, create this type of life, there you are traveling, going against the norms, breaking conventions, doing what your heart is telling you and listening to that. And this is a very, very difficult, and it's very normal for you to be perceived as crazy, because somehow in the West we have labeled people who live day to day, like day by day, who
Totally.
live in that energy and space of just going with the flow and following their heart. This seems to be a very scary thing to other people. And I would say that I think when you do that, and when you live this way, you may also become a threat to the others who are scared to do that. So you immediately represent all of their fears, all of their judgments, all of their limiting beliefs they carry, now all dumped and projected on Cecilia. Why? Because she is doing what a lot of people are scared to do.
Look,
Right?
it's really important, because sometimes a friend of mine, for example, my best friend, said to me, I don't know what's going on with people and you sometimes, because so a lot of people love me for sure, and I have amazing friends. As I told you, in everywhere I go, I find amazing people, no? But for others, as you say now, I feel I am a threat and amenaza, because they are not comfortable with me in some ways. Maybe because of that. I remember when I was a little kid, my mom, he bought me some, my accent, shoes, zapatos, and I always remember a girl saying to me, "Wow, I hate your shoes. They are so, I don't know, ugly." And the next week, she came with the same exactly suits or trainers. You know what I mean? So this is exactly the same. It's like when we are not enough brave to do something, or even when we don't understand something, we attack this something, because we are not able to process that in another way, because we have our education and our
Yeah.
patterns and our family beliefs, and that's it. So because of that, it's so good to go out from your comfort zone, from your house, your village, your city, your country. Because when I was in Mexico or in Canada or England, you say, wow, there is more. And probably you love things and you hate other things because you miss your country too, where you belong, no? It's normal. But you understand that you cannot process the world uh, here. You
Yeah.
know, you have to look at the world here, because
Yeah.
it's bigger than you learned.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I love it. Like, it's bigger than what you know mentally and
Totally.
wired to know. I think, would you say that the biggest issue we are facing currently is learning to live neck below, like going into the body, going into the experience?
I
Um,
think
yeah.
this is a huge um, one. I mean, like, and it's sad, because as I told you, if we could learn since we are, because, sorry, when we are kids, it's true that we don't need to learn anything. We are living there already. So I always say, when you're born, you are the butterfly. You are already the butterfly. But then, because you have to adapt, because we need a group to survive, and that is normal. But we cannot find a balance between, oh, I am the butterfly, and I adapt to all of this movie. I am a new character now, but in this adaptation, we lost the butterfly, and I say we are the worm again. So our goal
Yeah.
here, I think, have to be to be the butterfly again. But I always say that when we talk about transformation, it's nothing about change ourselves. It's about remember who we are, because
I
we
love
forgot that.
I love
You
that.
know,
And as you know, Evan, in the tribe, he always used to use the word remember. That really moves me when I hear remember. It's so true. We somehow adapted to these new ways from, as a child. And now we are being called to come back and remember what it is
to-
all about. Yeah.
totally, because the kids, so they are so amazing. They can, we are like animals when we are kids. I mean, with our intuition, with everything, our sensibility. But still, we have to do something in the schools, like to give meditation, to give Reiki, to work with the energy, just to prevent them to living here all their lives. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, it's so true. Just one more question about your travels. So
Yes.
we said like when people don't understand what you're doing, it's easy for them to criticize and project their own fears on you. How did you manage from such a young age? Like, what gave you the strength? Like, what gave you the initial strength to be able to just keep going, regardless of what other people are projecting on you? Because when you're young, it's easy to be influenced. Like, I remember when I was younger, I would take on board, like when so many times I gave up on things. Like, there were one time I had the opportunity to travel the world with I was session stylist back in the day, and as a kid I was when I say kid, I mean, to me that's a kid. When I
Yeah.
was like 18, 19, I was actually scouted, and they scouted my talent, and they said join us. And this was like
Wow.
traveling team of people, and they used to create the front cover of like Cosmopolitan or one of those Vogue or one of those big prestigious magazines.
Wow.
And every month they go to like Tulum, Spain, Italy, they go traveling and so on. And they said, join us, we want you on our team. And that was like probably the dream for a lot of people at my age. And yeah, I was influenced by the environment, family traditions, and how a female shouldn't be doing things like that. And I gave up. It was easy for me to just say, okay, fine, I won't
Wow.
take the
That's
opportunity.
that's hard.
It's very hard, but at the time, like that's what I'm saying. Like, where do you draw your strength from? Keep
You
going, right?
maybe this surprised you, but I think it's really weird because when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I didn't care. So I just say, oh, wow, I got a scholarship. I remember I did all the papers to get this scholarship, and I say, okay, I'm going to get it. And yes, I went. And after years is when I let the fear and the people opinions getting in. It's in the other way around for me. It's like, wow. So now I am 33 in April, next April, and now I care more what's going on.
Wow.
You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Okay.
It's in the other way. When I was young, I remember the first time I went to Mexico, I say the new because now everyone is traveling with scholarships or whatever around the world. But before it was something really new.
Yeah. It was
So
rare.
it,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
even more difficult for the people to understand me. So I remember one girl saying to me, "Oh, you go to Mexico. Can you imagine if the plane crash and you die?" Literally. So her fear
Yeah.
on my face. And in that
Wow.
time, I didn't say anything bad. But now I will have said, imagine if you are in your house all your life watching TV and the roof comes down and you die because this can happen to you. You know what I mean? So imagine
Wow.
that. I know.
Wow, Cecilia, this is so big. What you just said here is so powerful and important. It's true. We have been raised in societies that's so full of fear. Um,
Totally. For everything.
do you know the end of the last year, and of course, or not end of the last year. Sorry, I keep forgetting that we're in a new year. By the way, I'm
Yeah.
still thinking. I'm still,
Don't
I'm
worry,
still
it's
thinking
normal.
we're in 2020. Whole of last year was about me trusting my gut, trusting my trusting the unfolding. And earlier, again, we talked about pandemic being a revolutionary process for a lot of people. And you said we are learning to grow up, and that is a very powerful thing. I think pandemic has this. It did something for a lot of us, and you also said like even my mom she's becoming open. It's true. I see that from generations. My parents, my family, my culture is also very quite wired in limitations. And now last year I see people coming out a little bit and opening a little door to maybe change, or at least seeing it differently from what they've been doing all their lives. And last year, like I said, the whole of the year was me practicing trusting myself. And I actually started these series of posts where I just use powerful images with just one word, like trust.
That's nice.
And yeah, this was a message, a reminder for myself, because every time somebody likes the post, guess what it's doing? It's reinforcing in me. So
I know.
yeah, you do this as well
I
because
know.
you're on social media. So like
Yes.
a lot of the posts, and it's interesting. A lot of the posts I post online is actually, they are for me to reinforce some of the things that I'm working on. And trusting myself was the biggest, toughest thing. And as you know, I resigned from London Real, which was a massive, massive decision for me.
I
And
know.
to but the calling was so strong, like you always talk about, calling was so strong. I didn't understand it at the time, but trusting it was another thing. And for the first time I decided to listen and go with the calling, and only to realize now it was the best decision ever. Not because I don't miss it. I love the community. I mean, I love everything about it, and I really appreciate the learnings. However, like you said, there's going to be a time where all of us going to come. That time is for us to grow up and start really trusting ourselves, and also trusting our own unfolding. Because yes, we are collectively connected, but we must not forget that we are here individually learning our own lessons, learning to become sovereign beings. Yes, collectively, but also individually, there's a lot of work to be done. I think trusting ourselves is one of the biggest part. And I didn't do it when I was younger. I didn't have the courage that you did. I listened to the suppressions or the fears of other people, and also societal expectations, of course. And now, of course, you're much younger than me, but as an older woman, I'm thinking, wow, there is nothing to care. There's nothing to worry about, because we are not in control anyway.
I think, oh, yes. I think
Yeah,
for me, when you say, wow, how you have this strength, no, to do things, maybe it sounds crazy, but, I think a lot about death, not in a bad way, but I think I'm going to die, and I try to have this present all the time, and this helps me a lot because I can see life, maybe I say from the sky, like,
yeah,
so from the outside, I go up, and I say, wow, let's see the world. What's going on here? And it's like this is really like a movie, It's like we have a short period of time, at least in this life, because I believe we have more, but in this life with this body, and this hair, it's like what 80, 90, maybe 95 years old. We are lucky, and I think the virus brings that brings this remember. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow, this is gonna have an end, and maybe it's tomorrow, or maybe it's today, and I forgot
Yeah.
that.
Oh
You
my
know what I
God,
mean?
this is so powerful. My God, you give me shivers. So
Yes.
there is a lady that I love listening, and sometimes I fall asleep listening to her, and she has a very soft and gentle voice. Her name is Tara Bach, and she does a lot of mindfulness online. There is an app called Insight Timer, and you can actually download it. It's free to download, and you can
Great.
access to Tara Bach's. I think that's how you say her surname, Bach. And then you can listen to her conversations, and she's on Facebook actually all the time. One conversation that moved me and anchored me in this pandemic, she talked about this Tibetan concept of understanding death and having a relationship with death.
Wow, that's
She talks,
something.
yeah, she talks about if you can somehow anchor the reality that there is death, and once you anchor that awareness and create a relationship, like you said, you already doing that, Cecilia, without knowing Tara and her concepts. And I'm sure she's learning, because these teachings are not new. I mean, these are not her teachings. She's a carrier. I call ourselves, we are the wisdom carriers. So the oneness, the whole, again, another author that my favorite, Lynn McTaggart, says there is a mothership of consciousness, collective wisdom. There's something that is out there, that we are all connected to it, like through our heart, the
Totally.
heart, the frequency of the heart. So everything that we can conceive and think and observe and understand is not new. It's already been thought and said and created by this collective consciousness, and all we're doing is connecting to that. And you already said that you made friends with this awareness, having that awareness of death is there, so I don't need to take my life too seriously. I mean, acknowledge, honor it, enjoy it, but let's not get too attached and have a more like an objective over, like a view from a very different. It's almost like having an observer looking at yourself.
Totally. And sometimes, as we say before, it's not easy because you were saying before, like, for example, I don't have kids, I am not married, and I don't have my house, for example, and this makes you feel alone as well. It's normal, no? Because in some point I say, wow, maybe you can think, maybe it's what I have to do, like to stay here, have a boyfriend and live with him, and I don't know. But in some point, this call we were talking about is like, it's bigger. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know yet, but I want to trust the universe. Like you were talking before about trust. And sometimes, in some point, you understand that you cannot control anything. And the virus came here to teach us this. We cannot control anything. We think we do, but we don't. So it's like, okay, I try to wake up every morning, say thank you, and say, universe, I trust you. So hopefully you guide me because. And it's true. You remember when we were in Drive, and you were laughing at me when I say no, it's because I always found amazing people everywhere I go. And you told me this amazing, beautiful story, about this guy traveling the world and finding amazing people around. And I understood, that is my frequency. Yes, I was writing on Facebook about that. If your frequency is joy and is love and is light, you are going to attract this situation, opportunities, people, friends. But if you are in drama, you consider yourself as a victim of your circumstance, you are going to find accidents, illness, people who is toxic for you, and you are going to build toxic relationships as well. So it's all in our vibration. So the first thing we need to learn is to vibrate higher.
I
And for
love that.
me, if I can share that, I know it's crazy, but for me, for example, dancing is a way to, because I always say that there are different kinds of meditation. For me, my meditation is dancing, and I always vibrate super high. I have amazing ideas when I am dancing like crazy or jumping on my bed,
It's
in my
very
bedroom.
primal, right? Because dancing movement, like you are literally dropping into your body. That's a very primal way of activating your
Totally.
essence. Your essence. You're connecting to this like mothership we're talking about. Yeah, to that whole oneness, the consciousness.
I remember once I was in a bar and a lot of people from Africa came up, and they were suddenly with these African songs without shoes, like barefoot. And it was like, oh my God. So all the room was full of joy, energy, like light. We were dancing, like sweating like crazy. Imagine if we could do that, yes, every day, even with my patients. I would love to do that. Let's do that, right? Like 10 minutes, crazy. Your
Yeah.
your day will change. I am sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, also like in the West, do you think that we're too caught up because we take ourselves so seriously? Like if you go to a club and the way you dance, make sure no one's judging you. Make sure you're dancing gently. Don't make it too crazy. Don't make it too emotive and too, you know. So
Oh,
you always like, we care so much about how people are perceiving us that we forget to connect to that essence, right?
wow, it's great you say that because I just remember one thing. When I was to Mexico, I remember now Facebook is like on everywhere, everything. So everyone knows Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But in 2009, it's just 10 years, or 11 or 12, but it was totally different. So I was the first one, no, the first one, but the first people like do these crazy videos on YouTube, you know. So I was dancing in my room in Mexico like crazy. I'm gonna send you this video. It's so funny. And when I was dancing, I don't know why, my curtain, you know, came down. Came down literally. I nearly died with the curtain, you know. But it was so funny that I said, I want to keep this video like saying to the world, like, even if something goes wrong in life, you just have to keep dancing. You know, that's it. You know,
I love
but
it.
that's the
Metaphor. This is a great metaphor for life.
metaphor. That's it,
Mhm.
metaphor. Yes. But imagine in my small village, 2,000 people north of Spain, when they saw that, you know, oh my God, yes, I nearly died on the fire, you know, like a witch.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
crazy. And I say, wow, I am a visionary because now everyone 10 years after is doing that
The
and
same
it's so
thing.
normal.
Now it's
So,
normal. Yes.
yes.
You've been doing this before.
So when I say that, I say I want to transmit this message. Like, if you have an idea and it's crazy for everyone, just do it. You know, you have to do it. Don't
Mhm.
you have to don't care to what they say, you know, because and I am sure in 20 years everyone is gonna do the same. So do it now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
That's it.
Also, you said earlier something about when you are in your own, so basically other people won't understand how it is to be you. Like they don't know how to be they're not in your shoes, basically. They don't know. And sometimes individually we get these callings and we spend probably too much time explaining to other people what it is that we understanding and we're trying to do and what it is that we
Total,
are called to. But this is for me, like, this has been the biggest lesson to learn. And knowing that we all perceive the world differently.
totally. And it's something that I have learned with time, you know, because before I was telling, because I am really open, you know, to everyone, and it's so much. So I was telling, no, I want to do this, or I'm gonna do that, nah, nah, nah. So I was open this Spain for everyone to give me their opinion, and normally it was not an amazing opinion. It was an opinion to put me down all the time. So I say, okay, Ceci, first, now you don't say that until your business is done and you got your results with you, okay? Or you do that just with your tribu, with your tribe, you know, with people who is gonna help you, with people who is gonna put you up, you know, because as you say, you spend so much energy trying to explain who you are. And I think people who love you for who you are is not gonna ask you what you are in the way you are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just, we live in this limitation that we need to justify and explain.
Totally.
I don't know when did this happen to us that we decided that we can. So I think there was a quote that I really loved. There's three versions of you, or was it two versions or three versions? Like the version one is how you perceive yourself, and then two is other people, how they, and then there's a third, I can't remember now, but exactly, it's true. We've forgotten how people will have a different version of ourselves in their minds. And one
Totally.
of the biggest obstacle and struggles that people are experiencing is when they go through a transformational journey. They go and they try to explain and justify the transformation that they've gone through to their family and to their previous, connections and friends, childhood friends, and so on and so forth. But they don't realize that they are still holding the image of you from that time, and you cannot change that image that they hold about you in their mind from the past. So,
Totally right.
stop wasting your time. Just keep going. But while you do that, don't dismiss them. Don't be rude. Respect, because not everyone is capable of some of the things that because we understand things very uniquely and differently, and we forget that sometimes also we fall into a trap of thinking that we know better, we know more. It's not that. There is a divine timing for everybody. And I think if we can just let go of wanting to control how people perceive us, I think that's the key, that we will go far, I always think, right?
Totally, totally. And because, I try to respect everyone, and since I am
Mm-hmm.
little, and more, I think when you travel, and you are alone, and your friends, I don't know, in Mexico, England, Ireland, are your family, it's like, as you say to me, you see the world differently. And when you are back here, and I don't say it's better or worse, I just say it's different. It's a small village, everyone know each other, so everyone is talking about each other, and it seems like they don't have anything else to do, and it's like, wow, go to do something,
Yeah.
and it's true. So when I listen people talking bad about other people, for me is really like, wow, is something, even with my family, and I have been just fighting with that, like, don't say that, why you say that, and then I say, wow, this is not for me to do, it's not me. I have to care about what I say, but I cannot control everyone opinion about the others, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But for
And
some, yeah, for
it's,
some, yeah, for some reason though, Cecilia, for some reason, there is this mechanism in us. There's a wiring in us that it gives us comfort when we tell ourselves that the world perceives us the way we perceive ourselves. I mean, there is a comfort in that. I mean, if imagine, right, you're Cecilia, you've got thousands of followers online, because we're going to share your links as well once we finish this conversation. I want people to connect with you because you're amazing. And I think you're such a joy to connect with online.
thank you.
So imagine you have so many followers, or at least people looking at your presence, online presence, and things you're doing, the activities you're doing, right? Imagine if Cecilia wasn't mature enough, and that I mean, the way you handle all these situations is incredible, by the way. The way you understand the vibration and the frequency is incredible. I think that also helps you to not take yourself too seriously. I think once we understand that we can't control other people's perception of us, it's freedom, absolute freedom. Imagine like Cecilia, who didn't do the work and don't understand these things. And if Cecilia found out that all those thousands of people looking at your online presence or your videos or things are judging you, and they hold a very different image of Cecilia, that would crush someone. If you haven't done your self-work, and if you haven't done these things, or at least understanding that you have, I think, not just Cecilia, for me, for anyone, for all of us, somehow we don't, like, how can I say this now? I think the idea here is to build capacity to be okay with that. I mean, when we don't have capacity, we are crushed. Like I said, this wiring, the mechanism within us somehow is wired to be liked and to be accepted and to be seen by others intelligent, someone who's figured it all out. And the moment, like, imagine the idea, just think about it for a moment, Cecilia. Like, I've been online for a long time, a lot of people look at my posts and things like that. I mean, sometimes verbalize it, sometimes they verbalize it, they private message me and they say, why are you promoting negativity? This is like a massive theme.
Wow.
Imagine if I take all of that and absorb that, and even the idea that there are a lot of people looking at my stuff and really cursing, just this idea is just, okay, fine, because I know what that is, right?
But
You just got to be okay with that.
I want to say that I have done work, but I am in the bad. I have a lot of work to do with myself yet. So it's what I want to transmit, like, because it's true on Facebook and Instagram, you always see like, wow, like you can, so they can see you like you are perfect, you don't have problems, I don't know. And this is not what I want, because so being exposed so much is really difficult. It's really, really difficult. It's a decision you have to make, like, I am in or not, because once you are there, and that's it. but I want to show my vulnerability, because I am a human, and when I am with my patients, I always say, which is the difference between my patients and me. There are not difference. We are humans doing our work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for example, I never say that before, but about being seen, I know is a work I really have to do in the earth, because of my family. I think my parents probably didn't see me so much, and now I am sure I need a lot of people is seeing me. You know what I mean? So, but because of that, I am creating everything I am creating. So that's the point: is to transform the suffer into a beauty and do something with that, with your creativity is what I want. So some
I love
people
it.
will say that's amazing and is gonna be with me, and other people is gonna hate me, but still we are moving things inside in everyone, because a lot of people, as you say, they say, oh, I don't like you, what are you doing, but they are still following you. So why? You know what I mean? If they don't like you, just unfollow me, but they are there and they are watching you. So that's amazing, because probably they are healing some things that they don't know they have to heal. You know what I mean?
I love it because sometimes, do you know what the most humbling thing I heard today? And I'm going to take it with me from you. It's that the pandemic is helping us grow, and also understanding is a very big concept. Sometimes we don't understand things. There are things that we don't know that is happening within our psyche, psychological, metabolic. Sometimes like our engagements energetic, and when I engage with you, there are millions of other things are happening right now, biologically, psychologically, that I don't understand and I don't need to understand. And the idea of needing to know is just like out the window right now. And just kind of embracing this moment, trusting, and just going with the flow is the key. And I try and practice this in everything I do currently. And it's been honestly revolutionary, because I also come from, for me especially, you know why? You're not going to
Why?
believe this. You're not going to believe this. I'm actually a recovering severe OCD.
Wow.
And you know what that is? Obsessive compulsive disorder. I am a recovering, like I call it recovering, like you said, because the learning is infinite. There are no end. There is no arrival. There is no end. So for me to embrace and trust the unfolding, that's why those posts I keep doing, because it's a
Trust. Mhm.
reinforcements for me. And it's very difficult, to say the least, to just trust and let go. It goes against all of my wiring, but yeah, it's a beautiful learning. So these are the things that I'm going to take with me today. Understanding, even if you don't understand that you don't understand. There are things happening that you don't understand, even in your body, psychological, biological, like we said. Just trust the
Trust.
unfolding. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's interesting what you say, because it's really difficult sometimes, like to leave the control, no, and say, wow, what's going on next? But this is as well this energy that we cannot understand, and I am so lucky because I feel that all the time with me, like someone is supporting me in, I don't know, I feel that if I am here in Mexico or England, it doesn't matter, maybe I am crazy, but I always feel that like I am not alone and I can trust the universe.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Cecilia. I just want to quickly, before we come, of course, we're coming to the end of our conversation, but before we close it, I just want to go back and open a window earlier. We touched on something, but we went through it so quickly. And I think it's so significant now for us. So you talked about raising our vibration. And a lot of people know about some of these teachers of our time, gurus of our time. They always talk about raising your vibration. Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins. I mean, you've been to workshops before pandemic. Workshops was like a big thing in the West. We always went to workshops, gatherings. And if you look at all those workshops that Tony Robbins, I mean, look at him. He's a prime example. What does he do throughout his teaching? If you attended any of his days, like, you know, the transformational Unleash the Power Within workshops, every 20 or 30 minutes, he gets people up and he makes them dance like crazy.
Wow.
Every 30 minutes, like he did one, the last one, I attended 2 of his workshops in, you know, in person, and the last one I did was in Excel London. Excel London, I don't know if you know Excel. It's
No.
it has, well, the work when Tony Robbins was there, it has a capacity to hold over 10,000 people.
Wow.
So the last one I attended, he had over 10,000 people any given moment, and like giant screens all over. And Tony comes and he mastered NLP, as you know, NLP, and he's very hypnotic. He's very, if you can, I mean, experiencing him in person is very, very hypnotic, because he is he very much embodies that high frequency vibration. And I know that apparently before he comes on stage, I mean, he's got this documentary on Netflix, I Am Not Your Guru. Anyone who's interested to get to know Tony Robbins a bit more, because he's
Oh,
also,
I think I know. Yeah, yes.
yeah. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes when he comes on stage, like a giant energy. There are things that he does before he comes to stage. He jumps, he does these primal movements in his body. He really gets into his body. And when he comes on that stage and he walks around the people, the aisles, there are 10,000 people, and I can assure you, if you were to catch them in breaks, every single one would say, I'm deeply connected with Tony. I feel like this workshop is just like a one-on-one workshop.
Wow.
Although there are 10,000 people in the room, he makes everyone feel that it's a one-on-one, almost like a one-on-one.
It's the power of the energy, you know, because we are not aware about that.
That's right. He is very much aware of that. He embodies that, and he does this with dropping into his body. And, you know, like, that's why I wanted to open this window. Sometimes, like, in the West, we, you know, when we see a guru, like, for example, Dandapani with 3 stripes, you know, he's got white 3 stripes in his forehead.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Hindu monk. He wears his orange gown. Mm-hmm. In the West, for some reason, when we see someone like him, we get intimidated and we feel like, oh my God, he knows something.
Read us. He's gonna read ourselves.
Yeah, and also, like, he knows something I don't know, therefore I am less of, right? Because I don't know what this is, that we made ourselves believe that another person is like on a high, we put them on a pedestal, which is, I'm not saying it to dismiss the work they're doing. I'm just saying by the images, the misconceptions and the image we carry in our head, we believe that someone else is on a higher journey, or they figured out everything. And yet, I'm sure Dandapani probably wakes up some mornings, feel like rubbish, right?
Totally. And I think all of this is because we are not connected with our own power, you know, because it's what I say, like, nobody can heal you. It's like we have an amazing capacity to heal ourselves, you know. We are all our own healers, but we don't know that. So it's because of that, the thing about remember your power, remember, connect with who you are, with your light. But we look outside all the time and we don't go inside. That's the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to come back to Tony Robbins again, because you know, a lot of people criticize him also, like he's in, and you said earlier, if you put yourself out, you're on, you know, you put yourself on the line, vulnerable to be criticized. So I mean, he gets that anyways, he doesn't need to know that. But what I say about Tony Robbins, you know, he does this crazy jumping and screaming, and he does this primal activation, I call it. I think the moment we get into our body, something really serious happens, and we're more present and we're more connected, and people really perceive you as connecting to you, and they really feel like they know you, they can trust you. It's a really thing. It activates something very crazy and magical, right?
Totally. And we will have another conversation about that. But for example, I don't know if this happened to you, but with our sexuality, after sex, I know it's crazy. This come to me like maybe when I was 30 or something, but you connect with this sexual energy, universal. And this is a huge power that we don't know how to use yet. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when I dance. So this sexual energy makes you create, and I am really like, I don't know, I have all my ideas. It's like, wow. So because we connect with our body and with our
Mm-hmm.
essence, and it's something bigger than us living here all the time.
So do you think with education, like again in the West, also sexuality is very much a very interesting concept to talk about.
Totally,
People,
it's a huge thing.
yeah, misconceptions. I mean, my collaborator, Kadel, he's got a book on sex, masculinity, and God. He's very much into the research of the sexual energy, the origins, what it is, and what it does, and how it's manipulated. I think with the sexuality, I think there's a lot of stigma,
Totally.
taboos, misconceptions, and yet the esoteric traditions or ancient traditions, some people understood that this is a creative energy. Maybe that is also a life force. You can call it, you don't have to call it sexual energy, you can call it a life force,
High force.
whatever you want to call it, that makes you feel comfortable, because somehow we have created these limitations around certain topics that we feel so shy about or uncomfortable, or at least that's because we don't understand it, like you would say.
Totally. It's about sex and death. It's mostly the same, and nobody wants to talk about that. And it's life. Even death is life and sex is life, but we don't understand that.
Yeah, it's true. Amazing topic to touch on. Coming back to dropping into body, just want to finish off with this. Okay, so I think now we're at a time in history that we need to understand one thing: drop into our bodies, experience, connect with the body. Body has an intelligence. I call it body is the unconscious. If anything, body has, coming from a somatic experiencing background, I know how nervous system locks all the unprocessed emotions
The
and trauma,
emotions.
right?
Yes.
Trauma, everything in this nervous system. When you're dancing, what are you doing? You're releasing, you are
Totally.
reconnecting, recalibrating, rearranging. And this is the big topic is this: how do I raise my vibration? People are trying to understand, how do I raise my vibration? Okay, if I raise my vibration, that means I'm going to have an opportunity or possibility to connect this mothership energy. So how can I do that? So it's so simple, right? You just said dancing and I say meditation and somebody else says something else,
hmm
right?
And I say, I think in Drive, sorry, I interrupt you, that when you help someone else with something, you are vibrating higher and you are protecting yourself at the same time. That is a miracle. It's like, just try that. Like you are down and you say, wow, I'm going to send someone, I love you, or I don't know, something beautiful. You are with your neighbor and you open his door because he's with his bags. This change your energy, and this makes your frequency change, and your day change too. That's amazing.
Activation. Let's call them
Activation.
activation. Yeah, let's activate that higher frequency vibration. Okay, so we can do it with helping others.
Mm-hmm.
Um, meditation, we said. Dancing, we said. Movement, like I call it. There is a new trend. Not new now. These guys been around for a while. I think they kind of taken from Ida Portal. Ida Portal. He is created the movement culture.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, movement culture is like basically get out of your gym, get on the floor, start doing lizard walk, duck, move, roll around, get, headstands, whatever it takes. And he always talks about active, not, he doesn't say activation, but also like to increase the vibration, basically.
And I think everything where you are creating something
Mhm.
is helping you to vibrate higher. Writing, I don't know, do painting, whatever,
Art,
doing sport, you
music,
know,
art,
music,
all of
arts.
these,
Exactly.
yeah. So there are so many ways that we can raise our vibration. So it's quite simple, actually. We don't need to wear an orange gown and be a monk, or we don't need to be Tony Robbins and get a stick and then start, shaking the
Mm-hmm.
world with like jumping and really primal screaming also.
As well, yeah.
But yeah, we can do it in our own ways that feels good in the moment, and then
Mm-hmm.
just slowly build capacity, and eventually, who knows, you might open up something and a new door to even go deeper and be more braver and more courageous in trying more things, right?
Totally. And for sure as well to avoid the things that make you vibrate lower. You know, for example,
Mhm.
um, put the TV off now with the coronavirus, COVID-19 all the time,
Mhm.
you know, pa, 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 pa. So this is killing your immune system directly. So you have to recognize, you know, because we are really easy to focus in the bad things. So we have to recognize them where they are and what we need to do. So this is the action, no? Like, no, 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 I put the TV off and I'm gonna do something else, you know.
Amazing. So you're saying that 250,000 years old of wiring, we are wired for survival, and this survival mechanism is not on our side if we are not conscious of it, because it will filter all the negativity faster, quicker, more intelligently than we can even catch it and understand it subconsciously, right? So remove it physically, remove yourself from TV, especially this mainstream media.
Yeah, yes, important.
Incredibly toxic.
You can
Yeah.
watch Susan and me. You can watch instead
I
instead of
love it.
coronavirus.
I love it. And come here and talk to us. Look, that's why these fireside chats exist, because as I said earlier in the beginning of our call, this is to practice authenticity, embrace vulnerability, and to be with truth. This is a sacred space. Have deeper, meaningful conversations, like you said, send someone an amazing message, a supportive message. Say, I'm checking in with you. How are you doing? Things like that could make, maybe seems like a very small thing, but it makes a huge impact.
Totally. And I it's like I said before, like everyone is amazing, everyone can heal themselves, everyone can create something. So we are doing that, but everyone can do something. You know, it's like we are in COVID-19. So instead to watch TV all the time and be really negative and in this drama, I'm gonna create something for the others, maybe for my neighbor, for my family, for my friends. You know, we have a huge potential, but we use this of our brain. You know, so imagine our brain capacity is this, and we are using this. That's crazy.
It is crazy. Oh my God. All right. So, oh my God, we just gone an hour.
Yeah,
Cecilia,
we
what
thought
a
too much.
pleasure. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Always love
Thank you,
connecting with you. You are the character Joy for me. I always associate you. When
thank
I
you.
think of you, I always think of Joy. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And thank you for taking faith, what do you call it? Trusting this conversation, because unscripted, coming live is not easy, and really coming here to trust yourself firstly, and trusting the unfolding and tapping into that flow is incredible. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was really good, you know. So, gracias. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, darling. And yeah, looking forward to having you back soon. And I want to
Anytime.
say all the best with your teaching, psychology, and whatever you're creating, all that and more. So
Thank
I'll
you, and same to you because you are doing amazing stuff. So, wow.
thank you. Thank you, my darling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please drop your questions and comments in the questions and comments below. Don't be shy. Connect with us. This is your space. You're in this group, and I want to acknowledge you. I want to welcome the new members. If you want to join on one of these fireside chats, drop me a message, a private message, and we'll get you on, because I really want to learn about you, your story, and learn from your wisdom. and have this authentic share. So thank you, much love. See you on the next one. Bye, everyone.
Lovely. See you.
Bye.
Bye.